This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Good morning and welcome to the Big Football Show. I'm your host, B.A., and I have with me James Martin and Jack Hurst. It's like the debate show. I don't know where Keith is at right now, but it is the 23rd of November, almost time for Thanksgiving, folks. Hope everybody's in a holiday mood, and we shall get into some football because football is Thanksgiving to some people. But anyway. College yesterday, not big deal college games. There's a couple good ones. The top 12, pretty much everybody won who was supposed to win in the top 12. There was three teams that were idle. That was Indiana, Texas Tech, and Ole Miss were all idle yesterday. The Ohio State Buckeyes beat Rutgers 42-9. No big, whatever. Texas A&M blew out Samford 48-0. Number 4, Georgia 35, Charlotte 3. Let's see. Number 7, Oregon 42. Number 15, USC 27. That was a good game for Oregon. Number 8, Oklahoma 17, and number 22, Missouri 6. That was a pretty good game too. Look at this score though. Number 9, Notre Dame 70, Syracuse 7. Woo! I think they're kind of hot right now. Number 10, Alabama 56, Eastern Illinois 0. Number 11, BYU 26, Cincinnati 14. I think they made a statement in that game. And number 12, Utah 51, Kansas 47. Pretty good game.
One of the games you did not mention is still kind of surprising to me. This team and their quarterback is putting himself in Heisman contention, and that's Vanderbilt versus Kentucky. Diego Pavia, he threw for 484, 5 touchdowns, ran for 36 yards and another touchdown. Not saying it's against a really big team in Kentucky, but still, I think he puts himself in the contention for Heisman this year. And it's not really a great competition this year. I'm not really looking forward to really even watching the Heisman this year, but I got to give credit where credit is due, and I think Diego Pavia is probably in that mix. What do you think, Jack?
There are about a half dozen candidates. It changes week to week. You know, I just want to go back to the Notre Dame-Syracuse game very quickly. And it sounds on the surface like, oh, Notre Dame really piled it on. But they had 49 points like early in the second quarter. So they really called off the dogs. I mean, Marcus Freeman, if he wanted to score 100 points, I kind of wonder whether they could have done it or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And they're going to be scary in the playoffs. I think they really are a team that you see those first 2 losses, they weren't really bad losses. They were just teams they played against Texas A&M, who just barely beat them. And Texas A&M is in the top 3 right now. So it's really Notre Dame's going to be. If I'm a team in the playoffs and I'm vying for a championship, Notre Dame is a team I don't want to see. I don't want to see that.
And so some of the scores are a little deceiving. Now, let's be honest. Rutgers wasn't going to beat Ohio State no matter what, but they came ready to play, and they competed. Late in the second half, they take a defensive stand, Rutgers. They're down 7-3. They stop Ohio State on downs. And on 4th down, one of the Rutgers players has a stupid roughing the passer penalty. And of course, it becomes a first down and Ohio State scores and makes it 14-3, and it takes all the heart out of Rutgers. I mean, they were ready to compete the whole game, and they were exasperated, when that happened. But had they held Ohio State on downs the way they did, at least, going forward, they would have fought, I think, a little bit harder, had maybe a little more belief. They still would have lost, of course, but it would have been a better game.
I mentioned all the playoff ranked teams, but there was other games out there that were pretty good too. And one of them was Texas. And Mr. Manning decided he decided he was going to play a really good game. Now, of course, it's 118th ranked defense they were going against, but hey, he had 6 touchdowns, caught one, ran one in, and threw for 4. So, he had a terrific day. Now, do you think that's going to raise his Heisman stakes up a little bit higher because of that? I don't know.
Well, he does come from
running. Arch Manning isn't in the Heisman running.
No, he was I think he was being sarcastic when he said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
he's not even.
yeah.
No, I thought you were going to say whether it's going to raise his draft stock, but he's not coming out next year. But hypothetically, if he did, yeah, that performance would raise his stock, and he would go in the first round to someone, even if it's late in the first round.
So he's showing that he comes not only from quarterback stock, but he comes directly from wide receiver stock because his father obviously played wide receiver, Cooper Manning, and you can see him catching that ball. He looked like a really good wide receiver the way he caught it. So yeah, he's a talented kid. He just needs to. I think he's heading in the right trajectory as far as a quarterback. He's not in the same breath and ilk as his 2 uncles, but he's getting there. I think
there was another game I watched a little of that no one talks about at all, and it used to be big. Harvard against
Yale. Ladies and gentlemen, the great one and only Keith Engel is here.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. How you guys doing?
Good. Just talking
Pretty
college
good.
football.
Glad I finally made it in.
And Keith, I apologize, Jack, for interrupting you. Keith, Jack was just getting ready to talk about a game that we had no one's talking about. My apologies, Jack. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, Harvard against Yale. And you look at the record going in, Harvard was unbeaten in 9 games. Who exactly did they play? How good are they? And Yale, they only had a couple of losses, but that used to be a big, big game. It used to be one of the biggest games in college football, and it's ironic. Hardly anyone was talking about it yesterday. You had to scan the channels and come across it. Same thing with Army-Navy. It used to be an elite college game, but those 2 games, Harvard, Yale, Army-Navy, just aren't as big anymore.
Army-Navy, much bigger still than that game. Harvard and Yale played one of the most famous games in history. Remember, Jack? The 10-10 tie. The 10-10 tie.
Yeah.
Harvard beat Yale 10-10.
What year was that?
Tommy Lee Jones was on that team.
1906.
Did a nice documentary on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like this. It was in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s.
The actor Tommy Lee Jones was played?
Tommy Lee Jones was on the Harvard team. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Jack and I are old.
Anyway, I see your Miami Hurricanes won yesterday there, Keith.
They did, but they didn't get much help because they need a miracle to get to the ACC championship game. They didn't play great yesterday against Virginia Tech, actually, either. Kind of a sloppy game. They really needed North Carolina to beat Duke yesterday. They still got a path to the ACC championship game, but it's very convoluted. And I'm not sure that they can sneak in at large from where they are. Unless 4 teams losing some of them, I don't think they can get in that large bid at all. And they're probably the best team in the ACC, but that's not the team that's going to go.
So,
looks like.
Keith, what's the path for Georgia Tech now that they've lost 2 games?
It's very common. There's like 20 different combinations that can play in the ACC championship game today. Georgia Tech, they need to win, obviously. They could have clinched yesterday. If you won, they were in. I believe they need to win, and Virginia needs to lose to Virginia Tech. And I think Tech needs to lose to Miami. And then they'd be in. I think that's one of the least convoluted combinations right there, but it's a mess. I was looking at it this morning and my head was hurting. We're driving to the airport. But, that's what's going to happen. And it's going to hurt the ACC because Miami gets no shot to get in, probably. And Duke is still alive to get in the championship game. So they're probably going to end up with a team that gets pushed up to the top 12 and pushes a better team out of this playoff picture, I guess. Whoever wins the ACC.
Yeah, I saw LSU won yesterday as well, barely.
Yes, 13-10. A very thrilling victory versus Western Kentucky.
Yeah, it wasn't a great slate of games yesterday. I mean, there was some games with playoff implications as far as how teams played, and USC and Oregon was probably the biggest game of the day. Wasn't huge. USC's obviously eliminated now. I think it's a big win for Oregon, as far as where they end up in the final seeding too. They hadn't beaten a ranked team. Oregon. They were the only team. I was watching game day yesterday morning. Of all the top 8 or 9 seeds, they're the only team that had not beaten a top 20 team. So yes. So that helps them. It's an interesting day. Notre Dame.
I know my.
Yeah. Let me ask, Illinois, are they dysfunctional or what? They get in the top 10 in the preseason rankings. They lose to teams they're not supposed to. Then they come back and win. They show some resilience, and then they lose to Wisconsin, who was 3-7.
Awful. Illinois was again one of the preseason kind of dark horses.
Yeah.
For a playoff spot, and they have been one of the bigger disappointments in the country probably because they have been very up and down. They played some good games and some really bad ones. You can't lose to that Wisconsin team. I mean, Luke Fickle barely holding on to his job up there. Big game for Arch Manning yesterday, too, by the way. If you didn't see the numbers, maybe you guys talked about it. I don't know. It's 6. He's the first SEC quarterback ever to throw, catch, and run for a touchdown in the same game. So, nice game for him yesterday.
The Texas defense is still flawed as the seasons went along after, we thought they had a good unit early on.
They've gotten worse, for sure.
Yeah.
And I know Michigan won yesterday too. They played really good yesterday. So it's like I know it's a gathering up for the Ohio State game that's coming up this weekend. So we'll see what happens, but at least they didn't overlook Maryland. So
yeah, I was going to say they won. I was looking at the playoff chances, and Michigan at 4%. But I don't think I'm wrong, Ryan. You can correct me because again, I'm not 100% in the loop after the last couple of weeks. But if Michigan beats Ohio State, they're going to go to the Big Ten championship game. Am I correct in that?
Well, I don't know. They got 2 losses though.
In conference. I think they got just. I thought they had 1 loss. Okay, they wouldn't get
Oklahoma. No, so they got one loss in conference. That was against USC, and they lost to Oklahoma.
So if they beat Ohio State, they're in the championship game. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna.
I don't either.
We'll find out.
I didn't think they were gonna win last year either, but they did. So, and they got a worse team than they had a worse team last year than they did this year. So,
I get it, but one team I still don't know about is Ohio State. I mean, other than Texas, which was eons ago, and I'm not saying you don't count it. You can count it. They haven't been pushed. They haven't had the toughest schedule in the Big Ten this year. they haven't really been pushed, and it'll be interesting to see if Michigan can give them a little bit of that push. It might be good for Ohio State, actually, if they even, get a tight game.
You kidding? With that rivalry, Ohio State would settle for 1-point victory right now and be thrilled. Just the sigh of relief, after their lack of success against Michigan. No.
Well, I think they'd be happy. I'm all I was saying was I think for the team. I'm not saying they think this way. For them heading towards the Big Ten championship game and into the playoff, they might be better off getting a tough game next week against Michigan, winning, of course, for their chances later, because they haven't played close games, and that's a different animal. Once you get in one, if you haven't been in any.
Well, they won a close one against Texas in their opener, but that was moons ago.
Again, it was like a year ago,
right?
Yeah. feels like a year ago.
Yeah, Ohio State. I guess I got to see Indiana play them to really prove that I think Indiana's a better team. But
either one, Brian. I mean, people keep asking me which team's better, and I'm like, I don't know. When they play, I'll know. I don't. There's no way you can tell me. Anybody can say, I know this team's better until they play.
Well, you had your red flag about Indiana with Penn State, who they just barely got by.
But they found a way to win. They found a way to win. That's the important thing, And Ohio State hasn't had that yet. That's why I say they get into that type of game. Indiana's going to have an advantage possibly if they were to get in that type of game with Ohio State later on, because they've been there with their backs to the wall.
And even if you see Indiana versus Ohio State play each other, let's just say they play in the championship game. Do we still know who the better team is? If it's really like a really close up or a toss up game, it's really hard to know.
Oh, we have a better idea. At least, right? It's all conjecture. So it's been one of the weirdest seasons I can remember, except right at the top there. That's about all I could. That's the only thing that's gone to some kind of normalcy. Ohio State.
Well, speaking of looking forward to games for next weekend, Texas A&M is going to be playing Texas. That's going to be a prove it game right there for both Texas A&M and Texas, to tell you the truth, to me. And they got Georgia and Georgia Tech.
Yeah,
I don't know about that one.
Rivalry weekend. A lot of teams. Georgia Tech, the Texas, that's rivalry Texas's championship game because they're not making a playoff. So I think they'll come out with all guns blazing. When you didn't talk about it, and I don't think they played yet. I think they're bye. But I think Lane Kiffin has done his team no good deed by putting all this distraction that's been going on for the last 2 weeks. He should have just said, I'll talk about it, whenever. And, every time you turn around, he's in Florida, he's in LSU, his family flew to LSU, family flew to Florida. Just can't help.
What is Ole Miss going to do? Assuming Ole Miss is in the playoffs, and it looks like that's going to be the case, is Lane Kiffin going to be coaching them?
No.
We're going to find out Friday.
If he takes another job, he's not coaching. Obviously. This would be unprecedented. This has never happened.
If he hasn't officially taken another job by then,
he'll stay. He'll stay until.
Well, Ole Miss.
It happens all the time in the NFL. Assistant coaches get a head coaching position while their team is in the playoffs, but they stick with their team.
Well, we see. Yeah, but it's not going to happen here. If Lane Kiffin, he says he's going to make a decision after Friday, whether he's staying or leaving. And if he decides to leave, he's not coaching that team another day. He'll be gone. And it's happened in bowl games, right, where coaches have taken jobs and the assistants have done it, but never with a team in the championship hunt have we had this happen. It's going to be very interesting.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Lane Kiffin says, kiss my derriere, because you look at his hiring, his history of different teams he's been to. Mind you, he's matured. He's matured a lot, but he's still Lane Kiffin. So
I think it would be a huge mistake for him to leave too. This is where he needs. You're not going to have the same expectations at Ole Miss as you're going to have at LSU reporter, right?
But why would he wait so late, though, Keith? Why would he wait so late to give an answer? I mean, I know he wants to up the dollars, probably, potentially.
Probably.
But he's visited. He's actually his family's visited two other schools, two other rivals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's kind of typical Lane Kiffin. As much as he's matured, he's still kind of like got to be the lone wolf out there. But
in Mississippi, and Ole Miss has also. I mean, they're trying to get a package together for him to extend him too. So it's not like they're not trying.
Brian. I think what the deal is, why nut hasn't been solved, because you saw Mike Elko resign, you saw what's his face in Indiana, and a bunch of coaches sign extensions. I got a feeling Ole Miss hasn't put up what he wants, or he already has signed an extension. Mm-hmm. Right?
Well, it leaked out LSU is offering $90 million for 7 years to put him in, plus NIL stock or something like that. Yeah. A lot of different things that he's offered. So we'll see.
He's going to be the highest paid coach in the country wherever he ends up. So
this is a sensitive issue, but for the average person, taking into account Lane Kiffin's family, and that might be a reason why he might move, is it more appealing for the average person to live in Florida, which usually the answer is yes, or LSU as opposed to Ole Miss, the average person who has no big links to either area? What would be a more appealing geographical setting for an average family?
There's actually that adds another layer of drama to the whole thing. Is his whole family situation's a little bit convoluted, because him and his wife had separated. He had a new girlfriend, but now they've reconciled, and his wife is back with his wife, and she's out visiting the campuses. It's kind of convoluted all the way around.
Now that you're on the drama, Keith, and this is a good segue. What's going on with Belichick? His daughter-in-law was chewing him out, and he was just not him, his girlfriend, and he was just standing a few feet away, not saying anything. And she was saying to her husband, Stevie Belichick, let him fire you if he's going to do that. I can't imagine Bill firing his son. That would be
He's not going to fire his son.
No, they're reportedly pretty close.
I am thinking that North Carolina is desperately trying to find another spot for Bill Belichick to spend the rest of his career at this point. With all not just the fact that they haven't played well, they have no bowl chance now after yesterday's game, and I don't think they think it was going to go this way. Not just on the field, but all the baloney off the field. This is so unlike Bill Belichick. That's the whole thing. He's gone off the rails completely. Can you imagine this ever happening when he was in New England? Any of it? No.
Not to make circumstances.
No.
I did, yeah.
Stay away from those young women.
I can say something in regards to that that might have somebody going a little crazy, but we don't want to. This is PG, so we don't want to talk about that.
Point saber for Wednesday.
Yes.
Anyway, so since college football was kind of meh this Saturday, we can jump into the NFL games for today. Let's just put in perspective. We don't usually do this, but we need to start adding this on here about Thursday's game. And the Houston Texans beat Buffalo. And 8 sacks they got on Josh Allen.
Dominant.
And it's just dominance by that defense. The defense is number one, is number one for a reason.
That was Jack and I talked about it Friday morning. That's as dominant defensive performance I've seen all year against a really good offense, obviously, and a great quarterback. But I was also impressed with Davis Mills after a horrendous start to the game. He was like 0 for 7 or 8. And this guy's wide open to miss the 2 or 3 touchdown opportunities. He came back and played a really efficient game. Again, defense is why they won, but you don't win without Davis Mills making some plays here and there, and he played really well. So this Texans team could be a could be one of those teams getting hot at the right time. I won't say the M word because I'll get Jack all upset, but momentum is a little bit. I said it.
You know, of all the divisions, guys, going into the season, the Buffalo Bills were maybe the only team that seemed to be a lock to win their division going into the season. I mean, who did they have? They had the Jets, the Patriots, the Dolphins. I mean, even though you were a lot high on the Patriots than I won, kudos to you, Keith. You were thinking in terms of 9-8, you know, or thereabouts, and that wasn't going to unseat the Buffalo Bills. And now the Bills are probably going in as a wild card.
Yeah, we talked about perspective. We talk about perspective changes throughout the year, right? I would have been happy at 9-8. Now that I've been 9-2, if they don't get the bye, I'm going to be like, "What happened?" I'm going to be upset.
The Patriots have overachieved. Yeah,
you're playing with house money now, right? You got to be happy, but you don't get a chance to you get. Not everybody's the Chiefs, but not everybody's the Patriots from 2001 on. You don't get a chance every single year, and the Patriots are good enough, along with a bunch of other teams, to get a lot further than I thought, and most of us thought. So we got to strike while that iron's hot, and I hope they can keep lightning. I worry about them peaking early. I mean, right? The season's 11 weeks old. They owned December when they were on their really good roll, and I think it's important to keep that going. The schedule's in their favor from here on out. They've only got one team with a winning record, probably two by the time they play the Ravens. But I'm excited.
As you should be.
Right, yeah, because I think they overachieved, to tell you the truth. I think they really did overachieve.
If you want a red flag, look at the Washington Commanders, what they did last year and what's going on this year. I don't think that's going to be the Patriots. I think Vrabel is too good of a coach for going forward, next year for the team to take a big dip down like that.
It's not unusual to take a step backwards, though, after taking a big step forward, and do what the team formerly known as the Redskins have done this year. Patriots did it under Bill Parcells. They took a big step forward, and the next year they won 6 games. So.
Well, look at the Vikings this year. What they did last year and this year. Yeah.
I mean, since we're talking about the Patriots, I mean, we might as well talk about that game. They're playing the Bengals. They're 3-7, man. I mean, the Patriots. You don't just sneeze out 9 wins. There's a lot there that's structurally sound, starting with the head coach, Mike Vrabel. So you just look at it as a vastly different, total opposite of what it was last season. Some of the players are playing great, and particularly Drake May. Drake May has 71.9% completion percentage. He's leading the league in that, and he's also leading the league in yardage with 2,836. And he's had 8 games where he's thrown at least 2 touchdowns. So he's on fire right now. And so and it helps them that their rookie running back has stepped in for Ramondre Stevenson, and he's played a great game. So they look good. So I'd be scared if I'm in the AFC East and you're the Bills. I don't think you're catching up to them. I think this division is for the Patriots to lose.
Ramondre's injury has been had a silver lining here, obviously, because I was surprised they hadn't worked Henderson into the more action as the season's gone on. They really haven't. But then when they had to out of necessity, because they lost a couple of running backs, not just Stevenson, but they lost Gibson and another guy. Out of necessity, they played him, and he has been phenomenal. I mean, that's all you can call. I mean, he's had some just electric plays. It gives them a whole new dimension. I love Stevenson. He doesn't have what Henderson has.
I wanted the Saints to draft him in the 2nd round, man, and it obviously went differently. We needed the guy we drafted. We needed, but at Ohio State, man, and even in his combine, you can see how just like a trailblazer, man. If you give him the ball, he gets a lane, he is gone.
100%.
I still believe that. I mean, I'm kind of still iffy on New England and Indianapolis for one thing. Both those teams lost to Pittsburgh.
Well, early,
Not early, but they still lost. That's the point.
Yeah.
And they lost at home.
It
It wasn't like Indianapolis. Indianapolis lost to them at Pittsburgh, but you guys lost to them at home. So,
Well, yeah, we did. It's funny, Brian, is when I had them winning 9 games, two of the games I had them winning were the Raiders and the Steelers. And they lost both those games. So you just can't. Jack talks about it all the time. You can't really predict the entire schedule as you go forward.
Yeah.
Because you don't know you don't know how teams are going to progress and get better or worse from week to week. And the Patriots are a far different team than they were against the Steelers. I can tell you right now. And you've seen it. I don't have to tell you. So, but it is a red flag, obviously.
Yeah, just something to point out. That's all.
Well, the Raiders, I think, even worse.
Yeah, I mean Denver is probably even that they had issues on their offense most of the time, but their defense is doing like Houston's defense is. I think they're like the second or third best defense in the league, Denver's defense. So they're getting them past, getting them through a few humps, and the offense is taking off in the fourth quarter. If Bo Nix could play the whole game like that, they would be unstoppable.
Yeah, their defense has stepped up a bit the second half here. They were a bit of a disappointment. I'm still waiting for Kansas City to kick it. And this is a big game for the Colts and the Chiefs today, I think, as a barometer for the rest of the year. Because the Chiefs, this is almost a must-win for the Chiefs in my mind. They need to get this win at home. And I think the Colts need to show they're for real. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. That's a 1 o'clock game, I think, isn't it?
Colts need to win. If Colts win, then they're for real. They're for real if they win. Because this is a big game for the Chiefs. So they're going to get the best version of the Kansas City Chiefs today.
The Colts are for real already. Since we're on that game, I mean, let's go to it. I mean, how do you say we've been saying the Colts need to win this game to say they're for real. I mean, what are they won? 8 games?
That they're serious Super Bowl contenders. That's what I mean by that.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, this is a game that Patrick Mahomes needs to win because he's never had a 3-loss in a row situation, and that would be that with this particular game. And also, what gives him a little more added motivation is that he needs 312 yards to pass up Peyton Manning for the most yards up to 9 seasons right now. Would be 41,082 yards. So Patrick Mahomes, he's got a little bit of motivation here, but I mean, Jonathan Taylor, another guy who's on a record-breaking trajectory. He's just coming off a 200. I mean, well, he had a bye last week, but prior to that against the Falcons, he had 244 yards. He could possibly break Eric Dickerson's record this year and also LaDainian Thomas's touchdown record. He's on pace for both. So I agree with you that it does, to some degree, that it would show that they could be good. I think the biggest reason for them to lose this game if Daniel Dimes turns the ball over. And if Daniel Jones turns the ball over, then they're in trouble. But if he can just maintain, I think Jonathan Taylor is going to keep going from where he left off against the Falcons.
But
So
that's
I take it you
the
got the
difference.
Colts.
What I've been saying all along. We're looking for Patrick Mahomes to lead his team to victory, and we're looking for Daniel Jones not to mess things up, to manage the game. That's what I've been saying all season. Daniel Jones is a good quarterback.
Right.
But he has certain levels, and he's not an quite an upper echelon level quarterback. So when he becomes a free agent, in the off season, the team would be crazy to pay him like he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks.
Fair.
Agreed. We talked about that the other day. You were talking about Jonathan Taylor, James. Does it feel like it feels this way to me, and maybe I just don't pay enough attention. It feels like he's one of the most underrated guys in the league. We don't talk enough about Jonathan Taylor. He's a tremendous player. I knew he was having a great year. I did not know he was on a pace to break Eric Dickerson.
Let me give you some history on Jonathan Taylor. This is a guy that rushed for multiple 2,000-yard seasons in high school, multiple 2,000-yard seasons at Wisconsin. He came in as a rookie and lit it up. He had a couple of injuries, plagued years, but he's been that guy. He's been that guy already.
But this is my point. He's underrated. We don't talk about him, not us. I mean, in general, people don't talk about Jonathan Taylor as one of the best players in the game, right? We talk about Saquon when he's on fire. We talk about this guy. And maybe it's just a running back situation in the NFL, but this guy doesn't get his just due.
He plays for Indianapolis. That's probably why we don't talk about it.
No. It was because of the Daniel Jones story early in the year. It was a much better narrative to talk about Daniel Jones than Jonathan Taylor. Daniel Jones coming over. Daniel Jones is this and that. The Danny Dimes nickname. I thought it was overrated all along, even though I'll say it again. I think Daniel Jones is a decent quarterback, and I don't see going forward what else the Colts can do but, re-sign him as long as the dollars make sense. I'm all for that if I'm Indianapolis. But Jonathan Taylor's the guy, without question.
Yeah, that's a ringing endorsement for Daniel Jones. From Jack, that's a ringing endorsement for Danny Dimes.
No, he's okay. He's okay.
And dollars make sense.
He's not that good. Jonathan Taylor's great. That's
all I got him going on.
Jonathan Taylor's doing to the Colts for the Colts what Saquon Barkley did for the Eagles last year.
Yeah.
So, Jack, since we're on this game, who do you pick in this game? You pick the Colts or the Chiefs?
The Chiefs, they absolutely have to win. I mean, the Chiefs will go to 5-6 and still conceivably, be a wild card. The way I look at it, the Chiefs are going to go 5-1 the rest of the year. This is a big game. It's in Kansas City. If they lose to Indianapolis, it tells us the Chiefs aren't serious Super Bowl contenders, even though if they somehow rally and get in the playoffs, they're living off their reputation. All week long, Mahomes is saying what a big game this is, that they're psyched to the hilt. They should win this game, but the Colts will compete. I could see a 27-17 type game. But if Jonathan Taylor should run for 242 yards, look out. I mean,
it's the number one Colts offense. It's the number one Colts offense versus the number 4 Colts overall defense. Chiefs, mind you, excuse me, defense. So it'll be a great matchup, I think. But you're right. The Chiefs, I think their backs are a little bit against the wall. I'm still going to go with the Colts here. I just think that they had to buy, and I think they're going to be well rested and come in, and they're not going to underestimate Patrick Mahomes and that team. So I just think they're going to come in and steal a win.
Who you got, Keith?
I will. I'm going to take Kansas City for a lot of the reasons Jack said. I think it's an important win for them. Where they've really been lacking this year is end of game situations where they've always excelled. They haven't really come through when they've had chances to win some games. I think that changes a bit today. Daniel Jones, if Colts are going to win, Daniel Jones is going to be, again, not that Jonathan Taylor isn't going to be a very important part of this game. If Daniel Jones doesn't turn the ball over, the Colts will have a chance. But I like to see that defense, Patrick Mahomes, together at home. Tough place to play, so I'll take that.
Yeah, that's true, too. I'm going to go Chiefs. Last year, the Chiefs were 12-0 in one-score decided games. This year, they are 0-6.
That's my point. They have not played in the game situations the same way they have in the past.
We can term guys what your record is. Maybe not what your record is. Okay? I mean, consider that. So many teams overachieve. They win a lot of close games. They're really not that good. I could think of one in particular this year, the Chicago Bears. They've won a lot of tight games, but how good are the Chicago Bears? But if you point to their record, you could argue that they're one of the better teams in the NFL, and we know they're not.
I don't think that matters. The 2007 Patriots won every game by 35 points and lost the Super Bowl. So, I don't think it matters. It just matters how many, not how. So,
a W is a W. And an L is an L.
But it catches up to you eventually.
It can.
If not this year, next year.
Not everybody.
I think it all depends on what your deficiencies are, and that's really what matters. I mean, if like Buffalo is probably going to catch up to Buffalo. You know why? Because all season they can't stop the run. They bleed egregiously. And what do you do in the playoffs? You play good defense and you stop the run and you run the ball.
Yep,
I mean, that's it. That's going to be tough for them. So we'll see.
But they
I mean,
lost
it's
4 games. It's not like Buffalo is 10-1 and their record is masking their deficiencies. We see it.
I mean, we could talk about all that about who's good by the record, by the record only. But really, if you get in the playoffs and you catch a heater, that's what it counts. So to get in the playoffs, yeah, you got to win. Obviously, you got to get in the playoffs, but it's whoever catches a heater in the playoffs and can go all the way.
The Giants in 07.
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect example.
Yep.
Sure.
All right.
I brought it up myself. I was going to thank James for bringing it up. I brought it up myself.
Yes, you did.
So, Keith, we're going to go to your New England Patriots there. They're taking on the Cincinnati Bengals at 1:00. Who do you got?
Well, again, I like the Patriots playing really good football. I might have been, I would have been much more worried if Joe Burrow was able to make it back for this game. I think obviously the Bengals would have had a better shot here. With the defense playing as well as it is, Drake May playing as well as it is, I can't see the Patriots losing this game. I'm expecting them to lose somewhere. I don't think it'll be here. And just hope they don't let down on one of these road games. No spread. I know we're not picking with the spread, but 7.5, that's a lot to lay on the road for a young team like the Patriots. But they'll win this game. It might be close.
It's actually 8 now.
Is it 8?
Burrow's not playing. Burrow, I know that. Yeah. And Chase is not playing.
And it could be a closer game than you think, though. I think the Bengals will battle them.
Okay. Oh, James, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, I know you don't want to put any juju on or bad luck on your team, but come on, Keith, come on. It's the Bengals we're talking about, and their defense.
You do it.
The Bengals defense. Yeah, I'll give you -21. Please, I just think that there's just nothing. I just gave you what Drake May is doing, and against that defense, he's gonna pour more onto that defense. I just think that maybe the question is whether or not the Bengals can keep up. It'll be a race. It'll attract me. I just think you guys are going to win, though. Chase is out because of the hot Tua gate, and I just think there's no consolation here. You're just going to go in, win that game, and go to your next game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and wherever. Can't remember who we played this week.
No, you can early in the season, like trying to analyze what's a win, what's not, because at the beginning of the year, we thought of the Bengals as having a good chance of making the playoffs, maybe even being a Super Bowl contender, perhaps. And no one thought about that as far as the Patriots went. And the Bengals would have looked at this Patriot game and maybe checked it off as a win on their schedule. And now it's just the opposite. The questions are 17 weeks during the season. And you can't be up for every team the same way. You just can't. Human nature doesn't allow you to get psyched for some games. If that's the case, that means you're no more psyched for a playoff game than you are for any regular season game. And that can't be. Is there a chance the Patriots are going to take the Bengals a little likely, not be up for this game? It's possible. I don't care what can Grable tell him. It's human nature. And Grable's human himself. You can only psych your team up so much. But with no Burrow, no Chase, and you get the feeling Cincinnati's maybe mailing it in now, especially the attitude of their coach, Zach Taylor. He doesn't seem in a rush to get Joe Burrow to come back. If anything, he's trying to keep him out longer.
Well,
that's a little mysterious. So, you can look at it as a trap game, but Patriots should win something like 26-13. Two sidelines to this. With both teams, Stephen A. Smith goes on the air. He calls Drake May a liar. And Jamar Chase is appealing his spitting fine like he thinks he could get it overturned. I mean, who's advising?
Wow.
It's on camera. How on earth are they going to overturn it? And let me tell you something, what I don't like about the injustice of the spitting thing, which no one mentions very quickly. Jalen Ramsey missed the game. Okay, he got paid, but he got kicked out of the game. And Jamar Chase is missing a game. Where's the justice? He spits on Jalen Ramsey and they each miss a game. I mean, I got to see a little more justice here than that.
Yeah, before you pick Ryan, let me just say that the Drake May, Stephen A. Smith thing is a non-story. Nobody cares. Except Stephen A. Smith. He's the only one that cares.
Well, maybe I'll get James going, getting him a little animated about that.
Well,
Not really.
Stephen A.
No.
needs, he needs to get
Okay.
some ratings every now and then, so he needs to say something off the wall. I'm going to go with New England too. Whatever. Just like Mike says, Cincinnati's defense ranks 24th in Texas Class 6A high school football.
I've seen more scab defenses look better than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. He's
a shock guy.
He's going to say stuff just to be, talking out his butt. You got it. We got Jack's team. They're playing the Baltimore Ravens. Who you got in that one there, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, the Jets are starting Tyrod Taylor. They bench Justin Fields, meaning the chances of Justin Fields ever having a chance to be the Jet quarterback going forward, Tyrod Taylor would now have to get hurt. Tyrod Taylor would have to be so awful they would go back to Justin Fields and then he'd have to perform in the future, but he's not the answer. I don't see what purpose is being served here if you have any hope at all of Justin Fields being your quarterback in the future. But with that said, the Jets might be better off short term. I mean, the Ravens are too good. It's that simple. If they have any weakness, Lamar Jackson, he has to run around a little more than he should. He doesn't really get the protection from his offensive line. And the Jets, despite dealing Quentin Williams to the Cowboys, they still have a halfway decent pass rush. So there's a little bit of a path to them, in the game. But I don't see much. I see the Ravens. They need this one game to get it out of their system, the Ravens. I know they've won their last 4, but they need to put a butt whipping on someone to show we're Super Bowl contenders. We are back. They haven't really showed it the last 4 games, even though they win. They have to show a level of dominance finally. They're going to show it in this game against the Jets. Ravens 34, Jets 10, and Ravens on their way to the Super Bowl.
So Danny feels that you should be starting at quarterback, Jack.
Hey, they get no points as opposed to 10.
Who you got, James?
So, I'm going to go with the Ravens too. There's a lot of motivation to come in and beat up on the 2-8 team, but really not. It's really not beating up on the Jets. Derrick Henry needs to 83 yards to pass up 4 Hall of Famers in their placement. That's Marcus Allen, Edgerrin James, Marshall Faulk, and the late great Jim Brown. He needs 83 yards to pass them up all time with 12,300 plus yards. So, and he's going to get. I'm going to make a bold statement. I think he's going to get 200 yards in this game. No Quentin Williams in the middle. I think they're gonna run the ball and give him a heavy dose of Derrick Henry. So I like maybe 21-3, but I mean they're gonna run the ball and they're not gonna do a lot with Lamar Jackson. Mind you, he's playing, but he's still having an ankle issue. Rashad Bateman is out, so they're probably gonna run the ball a lot more. And so, like I said, Derrick Henry, he'll get that 83 yards today, and then some.
I'll make it easy for you. Ravens are better at every position. Ravens by 100. I yield the rest of my time to Jack.
Wow. Yeah, I'm going with the Ravens too. I think putting Tyrod Taylor at quarterback this week is a sign that they're just kind of like packing it in. They're going to be playing for that draft pick. Because they got all kinds of number 1 draft picks, so we'll see what happens.
No one's playing for a draft pick. The players are going to give 100% effort. You're telling me Aaron Glenn, your defensive coordinator, Detroit, is deliberately trying to mail it in? I mean, he's not exactly sitting down pat with Mahomes for Tyrod Taylor. I mean, he's making this move because they want to win, not because they want to
Tyrod
lose.
Taylor is not better than Justin Fields. Does not give them any more chance of beating anybody than Justin Fields does. I'm sorry, it's not. They're not the same. They're not the same athlete.
Bill Cowher thinks he does. He said, a couple of weeks ago, the Jets should consider making the move to change the culture.
For what reason, though? To change your culture, that's it? You're not going to win any more games with Tyrod Taylor. Brian's absolutely right.
I agree. I don't like the move. Aaron Glenn is trying to win a game. I mean, he's thinking short term. One of Aaron Glenn's mentors is Bill Parcells. And that was Bill Parcells' theory. Jerry Jones once was annoyed at Bill Parcells because he benched Drew Henson and he put in Vinny Testaverde, even though the Cowboys were out of it, because he wanted to win a game. And that's what I think Aaron Glenn's thinking about. I want to win a game, and we'll take it from there.
That's how I think about winning since they got rid of 12 games a year. But
they're 1-1. They're 1-1 since they got rid of Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams. I mean, they can win a game, but you're making it less off to win a game with Tyrod Taylor than you are with Justin Fields. I'm not understanding that move. And I'm not saying AG is giving up on there. That defense is still gonna play as best they can. They're all professionals on that football field, so they're gonna play like they have to. But
they can play both of them today at the same time. They wouldn't win this game.
Yeah. This is true. It's also the opponent that they play too. Yeah, that's true. The talent on their side is more than the talent on your side, basically. So, yeah. I mean, I get it, but I don't know. Going to James's team, the New Orleans Saints are playing the Atlanta Falcons at home. Who you got in this game there, James?
It's kind of scary because I think Michael Penix is out, you would think, and Drake London is out. Saints might have a good opportunity to try to expound upon the win they had against Carolina with the second start of Tyler Shuck. So this will be his third start, but Kirk Cousins has New Orleans' number, and he's giving it the business. Mind you, when he was with Minnesota. But still, I'm kind of leery about that, but at the same time, they are missing Drake London, but they're going to have Tyler Algier, and Bijan Robinson. And the Saints stopped Rico Dowdle, but I don't know if they can stop these two guys. And they're terrible against the run. And so, I don't know. They're in New Orleans. I'm just going to pick my Saints just one last time. Just one last time, fellas, against the Falcons, because I really can't stand them. I hate the Falcons. This has been a long time heated rivalry. The other two teams, I don't like them either, but it's really the Saints versus the Falcons. And so I think we win a close one, maybe 23-21, something like that. I like Tyler Shuck. I think he's going to keep going with what he did last time, but I think we're going to win.
Who you got there, Jack?
Now, James was talking about a week or two ago about how wonderful Kirk Cousins is, how much he has left, this and that, but he can't pick him to win a game like this. Come on. The Saints are kind of rebuilding on the fly, moving on from Brandon Cooks, a very competent wide receiver who could help some team. I don't think Cousins has much left at all. And Tyler Shuck, he has looked good, in a little bit of body of work we've seen. He's auditioning. If he does well the rest of the year, he's going to be the Saints starter next year. So he has a true audition going as much as any QB in the NFL. And we'll see. I just see a low-scoring game here. I'll go with the Falcons 17-14. It could go the other way, it's a toss-up type game. Believe me, Kirk Cousins doesn't have much left, but at least he can competently run an offense to a degree. He can't go out there and win you a game in all likelihood. And has there been a more
I hadn't seen this much backflipping over a fence than
No, I'm picking the Falcons.
cartwheeling all up back and sides on both sides of the fence here. Which
I'm
one?
thinking, no, I'm thinking ahead because you're gonna, harass me about the Jets because I was about to say, and I was in the middle of a thought, is there more dysfunctional team in the NFL than the Atlanta Falcons? Is there? I don't think there is because we have high expectations from every team, and so many people are picking them to win the division year after year. And year after year, for the most part, they're just plain bad. They might not even get to their usual 7-10 this year when all is said and done.
I agree with you there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're talking about you're first of all, Jack. You're talking about competency on Atlanta. Those two words don't mix. Competency and the Falcons. I just don't see them. I don't see them with that. But go ahead, Keith. Who do you got?
Real quick on the Falcons and Kirk Cousins. I've been on the same page as James. My opinion of Kirk Cousins was before his injury last year. He was playing as well as any quarterback in the NFL before he got hurt. So his time in Atlanta has not been 100% Kirk Cousins on his way down. He hasn't played well this year. He doesn't have a lot of weapons. I do think that the Saints will shut down the running game today, at least enough that Kirk Cousins is not going to be able to pull this game out. And I heard the term mailing it in earlier. To me, if there's a team in the NFL mailing it in right now, it's the Atlanta Falcons. And I don't see this team having. Look, they could win this game for sure. Saints are going to have more pride in this game, and Kirk Cousins doesn't have enough weapons to win this game. Saints win.
The weapons can argue they don't have a quarterback on the Atlanta Falcons to win them the game. Come on.
I'll tell you what, the entire team to me shows zero heart. That team shows zero heart to me at all. None. And you can blame the quarterback all you want. The whole team has to me given up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
I'm with everybody with the well, except for Jack. I think the Saints are going to win this game, and if the Saints win this game, the Saints win this game. Bye, Raheem, because if he loses against the Saints, it's gone. He's gone.
Listen, he's got to be on one of the hottest seats in the league.
But it's about relationships, and supposedly they like him a lot in Atlanta.
Don't care.
You never can't know.
Win. You can't never win and keep your job. You just can't. They never win. I don't care about relationships. People fire people they like all the time in sports. It isn't going to matter. He's going to lose his job.
I don't buy that. Everybody in Atlanta is radio stations a prize too. They're just like, nope. Get rid of that guy. Get him gone.
Well, Jay, you live there. What's the mood in Atlanta?
It's terrible. They are. I've been listening to radio station. Boy, they are hot. They're about as red and fired up as that red shirt you got on. They are calling for Raheem's job, and Zach Robinson too. He needs to go as well. You got too much talent on offense. First rounders everywhere, and 100%. They're not doing anything with that. This is bad.
When teams quit, coaches get fired, and it's as simple as that. He's a dead man walking.
Yeah. I think right now, if this was earlier time in the 19th century, you would have pickaxes and torches coming toward Raheem Morris's house because they want him gone. I mean,
or
gone.
Mutiny.
Yeah, something's going on. But anyway, all right. The New York Giants are playing the Detroit Lions in Detroit, and they're favored by 13.5. I don't really care about all that. Keith, who you got?
Jackson darts out. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Famous James.
Giants don't win this game. This is I can't remember who they're playing. Who the hell are they playing? Just heard it.
The Lions.
Oh, Lions. Oh, shoot. You're going to win by about 4. Lions winning. You know what? Lions are getting a lot of grief about not beating good teams, but I can tell you what, really bad teams they certainly don't have any trouble with. Giants are not a good team. And I think this Lions team's getting a lot of grief that they don't deserve, quite frankly. And I think they'll be still a force to be reckoned with come playoff time. I'm not just picking up the brain. I like this coach. I like their quarterback. I like a lot of this team. And they're not going to have any trouble today at home against a bad football team. They wouldn't easily.
You got James.
So I got the Lions winning, but I got it a little closer than probably what Keith would think because that interior offensive line for the Lions has been kind of tough on them, man. And that defensive line of the Giants is actually pretty good. So except Abdul Carter, he had one half sack at the beginning of the season and hasn't had anything since. So he's been a bust as a rookie right now. But I mean, give him time. I guess he'll bounce back. But with that said, the Lions got way too much talent on offense to even though Laporte is going to he's out for the season, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But the rest, the running backs, the wide receivers, they should still be able to score in this team. And famous James is coming, so you don't know what you're going to get from him. He may give you 5 touchdowns and may give you 5 interceptions at the same time. So I got the Lions winning, but I think it's going to be a closer game than people think.
Giants are going to have to come up with an incredible defensive effort to have any type of chance. I think Abdul Carter is going to have a really good game because he's been in the news, with what's going on, underachieving this and that. I think he's going to show up and play really well. But look at the Giants on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, Jameis Winston's not your quarterback who's going to play a control type game. You don't have Scatterberg running back. He's out. Malik Neighbors, wide receivers, been out for the season. Lions, if they're as good as we think they are, they're going to win a game like this, something like 33-13. I can't see this game being in doubt, as we get late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and of course, I also have to go ahead.
Go ahead, Brian. I'm sorry. I'll speak up after you do. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm going to say, obviously, I'm going with the Lions, too. I think you're right, James. I think it's going to be a closer game because of that defensive line. That offensive line, the interior offensive line's got to get it together. Either they got to find a combination that's going to make them, because that is something that is bad right now. If they, and it's to the point where, they figured out golf. No, they didn't figure out golf. You mean to tell me they spent all these years not figuring out golf, and all of a sudden they figured out golf? People just kill me with those kind of things. It's the offensive line that's the problem. Any quarterback will have that problem if their interior offensive line is not playing up to par. That's going to happen. So, but I still think they're going to win, and it's going to be close, just like James said. What you got, Keith, again?
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to say was about Abdul Carter, and I am so tired of these guys who need to get in trouble and get punished, get motivated. If you can't get motivated without that, I got to wonder whether I want you on my squad going forward. There's too many of these guys in the league. That's the motivation you need. Is I got my name in the news for missing the meeting, and I got benched for a quarter, drive, whatever. I'm so sick of these guys. Motivate yourself, man. You're making millions of dollars to play games. Well, get motivated and do what you're getting paid to do. Sick of it. Sorry, I had to get on my soapbox for a second.
No, because they got a player over there in Cincinnati. It's the same way.
Yeah.
The next game that we have is
right.
Yeah, well, true. Well, except for our team, but anyway, Eagles are not something that happens on the Lions. That's for sure. They may act crazy, but they don't do any of that kind of stuff. We got a good game here between Tampa Bay and the Rams on Sunday Night Football. Tampa Bay is going to LA. Tampa Bay will get Godwin back, but Irvin is not coming back. Who you got there, Keith?
I like the Rams in this. Tampa Bay, get another team. And again, I'm a big how many, not how guy. Tampa Bay's won some really good games late in the games. The last few weeks, they kind of started to lose the mojo a little bit. And Rams are I think Rams are good. Flying under the radar a little bit. Playing at home. And I know we questioned the home field advantage in LA, but I like the Rams to win this game. The spread's kind of big. I know we're not talking about that here, but I like the Rams to win this game. I'm telling you, I feel like they're flying under the radar in the NFC, and we don't talk enough about the Rams.
I don't know about with the Lions, but who you got, James?
So the Rams are probably, I have to agree with Keith. I think they're arguably the best team in the NFC. I mean, or the NFL. I mean, they're just playing really good. They had a pretty close game against the Seattle Seahawks now. And the
But that's
Seahawks could have won that game. But that's another team that in that division that's really good as well. So I don't know. I had the Rams on this game, but I didn't realize Godwin was back. You said Godwin's coming back?
mm-hmm.
This could be a tighter game than people think because Tampa Bay, I think a lot of their woes were just from injury. It was injury related because they're still a pretty good team as well, and they're probably the class of the NFC South, which is not saying much. But with that that said, they've been dominant of that division, and they gotten better and better and better. And Baker Mayfield has played like an MVP candidate himself as well. And so I think it'll be a close game, but I'm gonna go with the Rams to edge it out. Probably another 24-21 game. Um, I think the Rams should have all their weapons on offense. They're doing pretty good. So I got them winning this game.
We
Well,
got
game the
Jack.
Bucks are going to have a shot because Bucks always think they're in the game. That's why I give them credit for that.
Yeah, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The Buccaneers are going to the Super Bowl. They're going to upset the Eagles in Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game. I like to come up with these bold picks, but I think Tampa Bay's losing today, and I think they're losing their third straight. They'll be up for the game, but they're meeting a really good Ram team who was lucky to get by Seattle. I mean,
Well, we got to go
the Rams
there.
had all these turnovers and was still fortunate to win the game. Tampa Bay doesn't have a hard schedule the rest of the way. They'll be 6-5 if they lose this game today, and then I could see them going 5-1 the rest of the way, not having a hard schedule, and then being really ready for the playoffs. All their players back, including Mike Evans at that point. I think he might be back as well. Excellent running game, elite defense. And Baker Mayfield, I think it's going to be a special year for him when all said and done, but not today. I kind of like the steadiness of the Rams, and Rams win this one something like 27-19.
Yeah, I got the Rams. I think Stafford is playing at an MVP level. You alluded to the fact they could have went either way against Seattle, the Rams, but that's a division. That's a divisional game. And you got to remember, Seattle won the first game against the Rams, and the Rams are like, "Nah, you ain't gonna do that twice to us this year." And the Rams are playing at a different level. We talked about that difference from New England playing Pittsburgh at the beginning of the year and what they are now. I think that's what the same thing with the Rams. They started off kind of slow at the beginning of the season, but they're taking off. They're one of the best teams in the NFC, along with Seattle. As much as it hurts me to say this, Philadelphia, although I don't believe in Philadelphia too much, but I gotta say that the Rams will win this game. Now that we have here's one for you, James. Your division rival, Carolina Panthers, are going to San Francisco to play
Lose.
there. Who you got?
You said they're going to San Francisco. I said to lose. Yes.
Okay.
Look, Carolina they're sort of an enigma. I think you don't know what you're going to get with them. I think some games they blow teams out that they shouldn't be blowing out. Then they lose to the Saints. They shouldn't lose to the Saints. I think their offense is based on Ricky, and then they beat the Falcons. They beat them with the quarterback throwing for the team's career record in yardage. So you don't really know what you're going to get from them. But I just don't think they're going to go to San Francisco and beat the 49ers. They're going up against their former running back and Christian McCaffrey. The 49ers have their quarterback. They don't have Brandon Ayuk. I know there's a little bit of issue there in regards to him not being healthy, and they're taking away his 2026 guarantees, which is a big issue. I don't know what's going on there, but I think they still have enough to beat the Carolina Panthers at home, and I think they're going to win.
Who got, Jack?
If the Panthers win and Buccaneers lose, the Panthers in first place. The Panthers are absolutely no threat to win the division, none. So get it out of your mind. Anyone who thinks that the Panthers could actually win the division, it's pure fantasy. But it's conceivable at the end of the day, it's conceivable they'll be in first place.
Sonya is not
They're like a
you.
marathon runner who's running, with the leaders and a little ahead at the 20-mile mark, and then it's going to completely fall apart. I couldn't give it. I'm very fond of Sonia, but I couldn't give a darn. I'm not even going to dignify a discussion with her, on the Panthers' chances of winning the division because it's non-existent.
Jack, I see an infrared dot on your forehead right now. You need a dot.
Well, I don't, Jack. Close game today, though.
I'm studying, Danny.
It's going to be a nip and tuck game, and it's kind of slipped under the radar. Brock Purdy coming back, and we're assuming, the starting quarterback position with the 49ers because he played a good game his first game back, and he's the starter there, not Mac Jones. What's going to be a Mac Jones next year? It's going to be interesting to see where he goes. It's conceivable he'll stay with the Niners if he's really enjoying himself and another opportunity isn't there. But it's a question of the running backs, Waddle and McCaffrey. It's going to be a run-oriented game, not high scoring. And I see the 49ers winning by something like 20-15. Bryce Young's not the type of quarterback that's going to go out and really win you the game.
Well, since the target's already on Jack,
I said worse about the Jets than I did about the Panthers. Come on.
Sonya. You can't say anything.
They have no shot at winning the division.
And that's going to get you taken out.
It's not even going to be close by the end of the year.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, since Jack is going to get all the slack here, I can very quietly, under the radar, say the Carolina Panthers have played better. They're not as good as the 49ers. 49ers are getting healthier. They're playing at home. They need another team that needs to start, hitting the gas pedal if they hope to make the playoffs and win in the playoffs. So I got to take the 49ers at home here. Panthers are much improved, but they are not as good. I won't go quite as far as Jack went. We'll let him have that little stance for himself. But he's probably not wrong. I'll say that very quietly. Just not to take the heat off him too much. He's not wrong. This Panther team has improved. I guess improved enough to compete for the ultimate prize in the NFC. That's for sure. I like the 49ers.
Yeah, I think Panthers are one of those seesaw teams that's, along with a lot of other seesaw teams this year. They'll look good against like Green Bay, blow out Atlanta twice, sweep them in the season series, and then lose to the Saints. No offense, James. Lose to the Saints and get blown out by the Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. And then have the nerve to say, "Oh, we're going to beat." No, you're not. You got good enough. Your defense is fair enough. You got a pretty good running game, but it's still everything is still mid. And San Francisco has a very good defense, no matter who they got playing out there. A battery of people that just walked off the street basically are playing that defense, and Salah's got them guys playing. So I just and CMC. Every time he faces the Panthers since he's left the Panthers, burned them. He's destroyed them. So I'm not giving, and it's at San Francisco too. I'm not picking the Panthers in this one. Sorry, Sonya, but it ain't gonna happen. Let me see.
We still got games, because I'm gonna jump. I think because I got a couple things to take care of for again this plane. So
all right. Yeah, we got a few games left, but
okay. Well, I'm
gonna take care of your business.
Jump. I'm glad I could get on and chat with you guys for a little bit. For my guys who might be listening when I get home, I may try doing an impromptu stream of consciousness later. We'll see how that goes. But it was fun getting back with you guys, and we'll be back on regular schedule this week.
Glad you're back, man.
Thanks for being on, Keith.
See you guys. Bye.
Take it easy. Be safe.
Bye.
All right, next game that we have on the slate is the Minnesota Vikings at the Green Bay Packers. Minnesota kind of needs to win this game or else they're going to fall off the face of the earth, I think. What do you got, James?
So you got the number 22 scoring offense versus the number 7 scoring defense in the Packers. I'm not trusting JJ McCarthy. Right now, and they're 4-6. They're going up against Green Bay, who's been up and down as well, but they're 6-3-1. And also they're having the Packers are having issues with their running back. I'm not sure if he's going to play today because he's got a bruised left knee, and then he's got to play again in a short week against the Lions, right? On Thursday. Yeah. So he may not play today. But I don't have any faith in the Vikings. I just think that the Packers at home will do enough to win this game.
Yeah, I don't have much to add more of what James said. I basically agree with everything he said. Something about the Vikings, J.J. McCarthy. You know, Kevin O'Connell's supposed to be this quarterback guru for what he supposedly did for Sam Darnold. But how come he's not doing it for J.J. McCarthy? Maybe Darnold would have done what he did last year for the Vikings with any other coach. We don't know. I mean, Vikings at 4-6, I don't see a path for them to really get in the playoffs. They're not going to run the table. I mean, it's just one of those years where the Vikings seem destined to wind up being an 8-9 type team when all is said and done. You know, you got the Lions, the Bears, and the Packers to leapfrog ahead of, and you're basically going to have to mostly run the table, if not completely, for that to happen. And the Packers are less than invincible at Lambeau Field. We've seen that this year, where they're beatable at Lambeau Field. But with that said and done, sometimes teams on this magical ride, and sometimes things just don't go their way during a season. I have a feeling that's the case with the Vikings. It's just not their year. And I could see them losing on a field goal at the end of the game, something like 23-21, even if McCarthy does play a good game. And he certainly has the weapons. I mean, you know, when you look at, his running game, his wide receivers, I mean, who's better than Justin Jefferson? Yet something is missing there.
Yeah, I don't think he's just on that same pathway. Even though I need Minnesota to win this game so we can get rid of that nasty tie that Green Bay has, I still am picking Green Bay, even with their defense is still pretty good. The only way I really see Minnesota winning this game is if what's his name, Greenlaw comes back, one of the Minnesota Vikings linebacker. He's really good. And let's see, who was it? Let me find that out real quick. I remember. Grenard. That's who it is. Grenard. If he comes back and he plays well, it will be a close game. I mean, I still got the Pack in this one. Again, like Jack says, probably a field goal win this game. But yeah, I'm hoping Minnesota wins. But there goes my hope. But I'm picking Green Bay. All right. So let's see here. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Chicago Bears. Who you got, James?
So the biggest question is whether or not Aaron Rodgers is going to play with the broken left wrist. I believe he's still going to play. He wants to play. And will he make a difference? There's a couple of records here. Aaron Rodgers, when he was with the Packers, has went 25-5 versus the Chicago Bears. So he's got their number, but at the same token, on the flipping that coin is Chicago has the Steelers' overall number. They're 22-8-1, 14-1 at home, and I like the way that the Bears are running here. The Bears, they got 3 linebackers. He said out.
Yeah, all 3 of their starting linebackers are out.
Well, they better depend on their offense, and Ben better pull out all the stops. Because I just think, but again, I'm still not sold on the Steelers offense. So I don't know. I think it's going to be close, but I like the Bears to win this one. I think the Bears are going to win this one. They're leading the division right now, barely, no pun intended there. But they are definitely going to win this game, even if Rodgers plays. Sorry, Jack.
Yeah, well, Aaron Rodgers might not decide he's going to play until he gets to something like a half hour before the game or whatever. And you kind of wonder, would the Steelers just be better off if they announced Mason Rudolph was starting this week? And Aaron, you're, of course, the starting quarterback for the following week. If you tell us you're ready a few days before, you're going to start. I mean, I think they could be just as effective with Mason Rudolph, who's the ultimate backup for that team because he's been with them so many years, and he shows he could run their offense. And Bears have been living life dangerously, just like they lost all the close games last year. They've been winning them this year, and especially with the injuries they have on defense. I don't think it's a question whether Aaron Rodgers is going to play because I don't think the difference at quarterback, I think it's very minimal for one game like this. And I'm going to go with the Steelers to go into Chicago and actually, upset the Bears over there. I could see a 24-20 type game. I mean, how much are we really trusting Caleb Williams, even though I like him a lot? I think he's coming along well. I love his attitude. The way he fights during the games. But, yeah, something tells me that the Bears, something on defense, those injuries, with their linebackers could make all the difference.
Yeah, that's their okay, Steve. I think that's the thing about Chicago. I think a lot of the credit of their record right now goes to their offense. I mean, Ben has done a miraculous job of getting that offense together, and Caleb has been looking like he's the quarterback of that offense. They're third. The last time I saw they were third in total offense and sixth in scoring offense. So, and plus the defense is really they're fortunate for the turnovers. They lead the league in turnovers. So that's how the defense is staying in the game. But the defense is like bad other than that. I don't know if Jalen Johnson is going to play this week or Gordon. They're secondary players that they've been missing for most of the season. They were in a 21-day window. They can come back if they feel that they can play that game. I don't know if that's going to help them too much. I kind of want to go with Pittsburgh in this one, but because it's in Chicago, I got to take Chicago. Pittsburgh's defense is all over the place. Sometimes they come to play, other times they don't. And I just don't see them coming to play on winning that at home. So I got the Bears in that one. All right, next one. Seattle will be going to Tennessee to play the Titans. What you got, James? Already shaking his head.
Are you really going to ask me that question? I mean, the number one draft pick goes to the Tennessee Titans, and it doesn't change today. They're still going to have that draft pick when this game is all said and done. I think Sam Darnold is going to bounce back from that abysmal game he had. He's going to light it up. He got the weapons to throw to. They got a decent running game. There's some level of defense, but I don't think Simmons is playing on the defensive side. Isn't he on IR or something like that?
Playing. Yeah. No, Simmons is playing. He
playing.
Came
Okay.
back. He played last week.
Okay. Well, he's back. But I still don't think they're going to win. Even at home, I just think it's just too much right now for them. And I like the Seahawks to win because of how bad the game that Sam Darnold had. I think he's going to bounce back. He's probably going to throw for 3 or 4 touchdowns here. And instead of 4 interceptions, he throws for 4 touchdowns this time around. And so maybe 28-3, and it's over for me.
Yeah, they're number teams that have overachieved this year. I think Seattle is one of them. I really don't think they're that good. I know we could point out to their defense the way they, should have maybe won the game against the Rams last week. And you look at their record and they seem headed to the playoffs. Tennessee doesn't have a terrible team despite their record. They're terrible on the offensive side of the ball. Okay, offensively. Defensively speaking, their unit isn't a bad unit. They're really not a bad unit. And I don't think they're going to get blown out in this game.
They are synonymous with bad.
No, I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, if you look at the whole season, it's been an inability to score points that's really done them in more than anything else.
That's bad. That's totally bad.
Offensively. Offensively, they're terrible. They're horrendous. But, there's offenses, defense, and special teams. They haven't been good either, okay? So I'm just saying, yeah, okay, so maybe you could say on balance, yeah, I mean, their record shows that they're not a good team based on the record, but defensively, they're not bad. I don't think they're going to get blown out, at home against Seattle. But they're going to lose with something. I could see a 20-7 type game, something like that.
I mean, I'm going to put it to you this way. The Tennessee's offense is to what the Cincinnati's defense is. They're number 32 in both categories of total offense and score.
Yeah, like I said.
And a little bit to your point, yes, they do play kind of good defense. They did that against Houston, but then that's something that's an anomaly too, because they're ranked 24th in team defense and scoring total defense, and scoring defense is even worse, is 29th. So, I mean, when you got those two things running together, and then Seattle's like top 10 in every category with total offense and total defense, blah, blah, blah. So they're playing really well at a good level too. The one thing I don't believe in right now for Seattle is their running game. Their running game has pretty been and they got to run the ball, in the playoffs. And so Walker's got to get it together, and Charbonnet has to get it together. If they can get that running game together, I don't think you're going to be able to stop Seattle in the playoffs. But I got Seattle winning this one too, and big, because Titans will get points. I'll give them that, but they're not going to. It's going to be too late for that to happen. Next game is the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Arizona Cardinals. James, what you got?
So this is a little bit of a tough one, because on one hand, Jack, you've been talking about Jacoby Brissett, and is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He's been doing pretty good. In the last game, there was a coming out party for Michael Wilson. He had 15 catches for 185 yards. So he's a good number 2 now. So when Michael Harrison Jr. comes back, look out for them. And I don't know if Kyler Murray gets his job back this season. Well, if he comes back, I don't know if he gets his job back. But with that said, Jacoby Myers has played well for the Jags too, in the absence of Travis Hunter. Brian Thomas Jr. I think he's out. He might be out this game. Yeah, he's out this game. So with that said, I still like the Jags. I just don't like the Cards, man. They're not putting it together. They're up and down. They're 3-7 for a reason. I think the Jags go there and eke out a close victory, maybe like a 17-14 win, low scoring.
Yeah, I mean, I might pull James as far as Arizona goes. What James did with the Jets early in the year, he kept picking them in his upset specials, and they kept losing, and then he finally threw the towel in on them, and then they win a game the week he throws the towel in. I've been doing that with Arizona. I've been picking them to win these games, and I'm tired of them. I'm sick of them. They're out of it now. They have absolutely no chance, going to the playoffs anymore. And I thought all along there would be a turning point. I want to hear about Jacoby Brissett. I mean, he's had so many opportunities in the league. He can win you some games like he did at Cleveland. Well, when he was given a chance to start there, he didn't hold on to it, the job there. He didn't hold on to it in Indianapolis. He was supposed to quarterback New England for a while to get Drake May ready. That didn't last. I mean, and there was another stop as well. Was he with the Raiders, if I'm not mistaken? Somewhere else. I forgot. But so he's doing okay at Arizona, but they're losing the games he's playing. And if the Arizona's going to bench Kyler Murray because Jacoby Brissett they feel is performing well, that's pretty pathetic because that means they've officially given up on Kyler Murray. You better play Kyler Murray and let him get some trade value, or maybe he'll show you can stick with him going forward. But certainly don't make a move to Jacoby Brissett, but it appears that's what they're going to do. It should be a close game today at Arizona. You never know what Jacksonville Jaguar team's going to show up, but I'm going to go with them to eke out a victory, something like 23-20. But with that said, this might be the week that Arizona finally does break through and win a game when I'm not picking them to do it.
I'm not either. I want to say this one more thing before you go, B. There is one more stat line that kind of sides with the Cardinals. The Jags are giving up 41 receptions, 500 yards to tight ends, and Trey McBride has 71 receptions and 718 yards right now, and 7 TDs, and he's leading all tight ends in all three categories. So that's something to watch out for as well.
Yeah, McBride is playing at the top of his game.
I'm sure the coaches are aware of that, and they're
going
to defend accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm picking Jacksonville too, even though I don't feel comfortable with it. But I said I was never picking Arizona for the rest of the season. After they lost to Tennessee, nope, that ain't happening. Not happening. You lose to Tennessee at home, no, I'm not going with you for the rest of the season. And Jacksonville's one of those topsy-turvy teams. You don't know what you're going to get. They got a good record. They're 7-4 now, so 7-3,
6-4, 6-4, yeah.
6-4.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're playing okay, but again, I don't see anything that's wow to me. That's going to say they can. And you're right. I think this is going to be a close game. I think a field goal will win this one either way too. I just can't. Both these teams, man. Ugh. I don't like either one of them. Okay, we're going to go to the Cleveland at the Vegas Raiders. Who you got there, James?
Well, this is a game that everybody's probably going to be watching, and we all know it's not because of Myles Garrett and his 15 sacks. It's definitely because of Shedeur Sanders. I mean, you got people that are watching because they want to see him fail. You got people watching because they want to see him succeed. Either way, everybody's going to be glued in to see how he does. And mind you, he has no excuses now. He's got first team reps, and he's still got the same bad offensive line that Flacco and Dylan Gabriel had. So good luck to him. And I hope I'm one of the people that support him. I want him to succeed. I think he's talented. I think he should have been drafted higher in the 5th round, but it didn't happen. That's all water under the bridge now. He got his time to play. Go out there and try to be as good as you can. But look, they're both 2-8. And again, I think the biggest thing is not going to be Shedeur Sanders. It's going to be how hot and scary that Myles Garrett is. He's got 15 sacks, and the 10 of them were in the last 3 games. So he's on a tear. And Geno Smith has been sacked 31 times. That's 4th in the league. So he's going to be sacked probably 38 this game. I'm giving Myles Garrett another 4 sacks this game. So and I think Shedeur Sanders does just enough for them to win a 7-3 game. I think it's going to be low scoring.
Are you serious? 7-3? That's your final prediction. Wow, that's bold. Well, listen, I remember one 7-3 game when the Giants played the 49ers the year the 49ers were the 2-time Super Bowl defending champions, and the Giants
that game too.
Beat them in the playoffs that year to go to the Super Bowl. They played late in the regular season, and the Niners won that game 7-3. So it does happen. I don't think Myles Garrett's going to be the most important defensive end this game. Not at all. I think that's going to be Max Crosby. He's going to be licking his chops going after Shedeur Sanders. And believe me, Max Crosby's going to be super motivated because it's Shedeur Sanders back there. The game's going to have a lot of profile, and he's going to go all out to get to him. And Shador Sanders, when he's in the pocket, sometimes he's all over the place. He sometimes, goes to the pass rushers rather than eluding them. So it's an intriguing game. And Pete Carroll, he wants as many wins as he can. Obviously, they're not going to the playoffs, but they want to stop the mess that's going on with the Raiders. And if you can't win a game like this against Cleveland, who are you going to win? As well as Kevin Stefanski goes, the Brown coach, is he going to be back next year? I'm so curious about his status. With everything that was going on with the Shador Sanders situation before, was he standing up to the owner, being defiant to Jimmy Haslett or not? I don't know the story. What's happening, with Stefanski there? I'm not certain he won't be back, but they have a terrible record there. And with that said, I'm going to go with the Raiders to win the game, something like 19-17. And it's weird that two teams with such an awful record, they're playing in a marquee game.
Well, just by people in the game. That's what it is. Vegas, we had so much promise with him, from the coach down to Genti, down to Geno, recreating his quarterback, and Geno's terrible.
And Tom Brady helping call the shots.
Yeah, I don't care if it's God himself. They ain't helping that team right now. That team is bad. And Pete Carroll is not the second coming. Genti is not yet. I'm not saying he won't be. He just not this year. That offensive line is also bad. You're talking about Cleveland's offensive line. Their offensive line is bad too. I can see both Max Crosby and Myles Garrett eating in this game. It might be a competition who can get to the quarterback first. You know what I'm saying? Whoever's going to have most sacks in this game. On that note, I think it's going to be a defensive game. And 7-3 is not a bad score. I'll give them 13-10 or something like that. Cleveland winning. I think Judkins is the better running back out of the two right now. He's been very consistent running the ball, even with that bad offensive line. He's been doing very good. And I think that Shador has enough weapons to get them a couple of touchdowns, or a touchdown and get them in field goal position a couple of times. Like James said, he has played with the first team, so he ain't got no excuses this time. He ain't got no excuses.
Well, him and Jerry Jeudy, I wonder in the game plan, is it going to put special emphasis on that combination? Or Shador going to be forced into strictly a running game, very few passes, the way they use Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel is not allowed to, doesn't throw the ball much. And Shador is more cut out the pass, the ball than is Dylan Gabriel. Is he going to be allowed to?
I think it just depends on the matchups of the wide receivers and the tight ends versus the linebackers. And I think their tight end matchups for Njoku and Fanning look more favorable versus their linebackers or their safeties in Las Vegas. So look for him to hit, like you saw that 22-yard strike he threw to Fanning. I could see that happening a lot more in this particular game, and then especially in some quick slants, because they're going to have to get the ball out of his hand in like 2 to 3 seconds, because that offensive line is horrendous. Particularly interiorly, so they'll have to get the ball out of his hands quickly. But I can see some short screens here and there with the wide receiver. Because Jeudy, he can. You saw what he did when he got the ball. He got really good maneuverability out there on the field. So get the ball in his hands quick. Maybe a 5-yard out, or screen, a wide receiver screen. That's probably what they're going to do more so, because again, that offensive line is just not good on both teams. Both sides have terrible offensive. Both teams have terrible offensive line. So
I think that on top of that, Shador is a different type of quarterback than Gabriel is. I think he has more athleticism, so he can get out of the pocket a lot faster and make throws on the run. Now, that's going to be a key point for Shador. Let's not hold on to the ball. Let's get rid of the ball. If you can't find anybody to throw to, just get rid of the ball, because you're going to run outside the pocket anyway and throw the ball. You're going to be out of the pocket. Parameters. So just go ahead and do that. Learn from that experience. I think he has a better running game. I think what they're going to start doing first is see how they can do on a running game. If they can get through that defense with that running game, that's how that whole game is going to start setting up. Probably some more play action passes, and the tight ends are going to be a big key for Shedeur too, Fanning and Njoku. I like Judy, but I just think that's where the game is going to be won at right there. So, but I got Cleveland anyway, like I said. And for the last game of the day that's on the docket, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to the Dallas Cowboys. Who do you got, James?
The Eagles have had such an array of dysfunction in their offense. Jalen Hurts has been in the media lately for not being able to get the ball to his wide receivers or some his players talking about how they're not satisfied with his production at quarterback, particularly A.J. Brown in so many words. Not saying he specifically called him out by name, but I just, talking about how much a better receiver he is and still has it, and saying also, look at his running back. He's not doing as well either, but he's a bad running back? No, he's not bad. We still can play. It's just, I get it. I mean, they don't have Kellen Moore as their coach there. As their offensive coordinator anymore. They have someone else. It's a little different. They've had these sort of issues, but they found ways to win games. That's the difference this season. They're not losing games like they were in 23. They're not declining, and you don't see the quarterback sitting at the end of the bench, not next with his teammates. He's still trying to be there and be a leader for his team. And he's got 16 touchdowns to 1 interception. Whether he's throwing 100+ yards or not, he's protecting the ball. I still like the Eagles to go in Dallas and win this game. It may be a close game, but I still think at some point they're gonna break to where they're gonna start clicking on offense and they're gonna be better, but they're gonna win this game. I got them maybe like a 24 to 17 score.
A.J. Brown is 100% correct in what he says. I can feel his frustration. Could you imagine the Cincinnati Bengals are winning games? Let's say Joe Mixon was still there with the Bengals, and he, potentially he could be a great running back, and he was having a great season, and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins have a limited amount of throws going their way. Can you imagine that happening? You can't imagine that. Jamar Chase, you're not fully utilizing him. Well, that's what's going on with Philadelphia. A.J. Brown is that type of caliber receiver, but we don't see it right now because he's not being used, so we're not putting him on the same level as a Jamar Chase, even though he is on the same level. Devontae Smith, great receiver. He's not being utilized. It's going to come back to haunt Philadelphia down the line. They're not going to win the Super Bowl the way they're strategizing these games right now, but they're 8-2. So winning keeps people quiet. Winning keeps people like James saying, well, they're winning. That's all that matters. You're winning. You're winning until you're not winning. And the playoffs are cruel. The playoffs are mean. You could have the greatest regular season, but you lose a playoff game. That's all people are going to talk about. Look at the Cowboys a couple of years ago. They won their division. They were playing great going into the playoffs, and they laid an egg against the Packers. Do you think people care about the regular season? The Cowboys a couple of years ago, they had 3 consecutive 12-5 seasons. But how do we look at the Cowboys? We look at them as a franchise in disarray. That's how we look at them, and that's not fair. They've had success under Jerry Jones with 3 consecutive 12-5 seasons. The Eagles better figure something out for the playoffs. They got. I know you play week to week, but you got to look ahead because they're winning battles week after week, but they're going to lose the war at the end. That's what the problem is. And as far as Jalen Hurts being a leader, I've always loved Jalen Hurts from coming out of college, James. But there is talk in Philadelphia. He's not really being a leader. He's not close with the other guys. He's businesslike. And players like a quarterback who's very personable in the locker room, who jokes with the guys, could go out to dinner with them, could be one of the guys. They don't like a guy who punches his card in and punches his card out and then leaves, immediately, and won't hang around and maybe have a beer with the guys and so on. And there's some discontent there, going on. But how do you trust Dallas to win a game like this against Philadelphia? You don't. So with that said, Philadelphia wins this game something like 30-17 because Dallas's defense does have holes in it. Eagles go to 9-2, and we're all going to be talking, well, the Eagles are winning, all's fine. How can you complain? But look out come playoff time. They better figure out the right formula by then and get A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith in full gear.
That's such an immature thing, though, for guys to look at a quarterback and say, "Well, he's not compatible." I mean, grow up. You work for a living. I don't have to be friends with you, but we can respect each other to go out and be teammates, to go out and try to win again. But I don't have to come hang with you and go out with you and be buddy with everybody. It's just impossible. In life, you only have really 1, 2, or so good friends that you can say that you can count on, that you can hold accountable. But other than that, if you're at work, we're coworkers, and that's fine. I don't have to be your friend, man. But I mean, I just want to know I can depend on you when we're in the trenches and we got to go to war with somebody. That's what matters. That I can depend on, or you can depend on me.
You're right, James. You're correct how things should be, but I'm talking about how things are. If you're an offensive lineman and you don't care for your quarterback, you might not block them quite as hard. You might give a 90% effort instead of 100% effort. I mean, that's human nature there, to put out a little more. You're turning away.
Well, it'd be my human nature as a GM to get rid of you if you did something like that. If I saw film and I saw that you not put in.
He's made a lot of moves, Howie Roseman. So he does make those type moves. Look, Philadelphia's winning now. I think they're going to win. They'll go to 9-2. But you're not going to tell me that Philadelphia going into the playoffs is a better team than some of the other teams necessarily. You're looking at it, well, they're the defending Super Bowl champions, but that doesn't mean anything going into the playoffs. You're going to have a bunch of other teams in there. When they if they play the Detroit Lions, are the Lions going to be thinking, well, they're the defending Super Bowl champions, they have a little bit of an edge on us because of that. They're not going to be looking at it that way.
Well, one thing I will say, and I'll let you go, B, is that they have a formula for a playoff team. They have a good running game. They have a good running back, a couple of good running backs, Gainwell and Saquon. And they have a really good defense. They can keep scores low and tight enough to where the offense can at least get second opportunities to try to right what they're doing. So they still they stay in the game. That's why they won 8 games. And I just think that, their defense it's not what you saw last year where the offense was the main pride of what the Eagles were doing, but it's more so now the defense that has stepped up and helped them win games and give them second opportunities. But we'll see. To be determined.
I mean, you alluded to the 2023 season when they had a different offensive and defensive coordinator that were hired within. They started off that season, I believe, 7-0. They were undefeated through 7 games, and then they got a couple losses and they went right down the drain. And I feel what Jack is saying, other than the quarterback situation, I think their offense is not. You gotta be hitting. And when you get to the playoffs. And I think this is the reason why I'm picking Dallas this game. But if Dallas wins this game, I want to see what happens to the team in the next game because they're playing Chicago on Friday, Black Friday. So we'll see. And it's going to be in Philadelphia. We're going to see what happens to that team if they lose to Dallas. Remember, this is a divisional game. Dallas is one of the top 3 offenses in the league. That is not changing anything, to me. I think that they're gonna give the defense all the business in the world for Philadelphia. I think the thing that's going to change this game around is the defense from Dallas. Jerry Jones made it public that he wants to stop the run because of teams in his division that are run savvy, and Philadelphia being the most apparent one with Saquon. If they can stop the run, they're going to have to go to passes. And I'm sure that Jalen Hurts can get the job done. But I don't know, man. That offense is really malaligned right now, and you know, I think Hurts is on that level that he's being a professional. If you want to talk a lot now, see, this goes opposite from what you said, Jack, about the offensive line not playing well because he doesn't have a good rapport with the quarterback. I mean, they're all professionals. They
have a good offensive line, by the way. I'm not.
Yeah, they do have
a
good
offensive line. Yeah,
but I'm just saying that could be happening. The quarterback is the leader all the time. He's the leader. If he feels that you're complaining too much about not getting the ball, and he's done this, I've seen Jalen Hurts do this, he will go away from you and not throw you the ball at all. And this is the reason why Brown is PO'd about the whole situation, because he knows Jalen Hurts is not going to give him the ball if he keeps complaining about it and throwing people under the bus. And this is why, Devontae Smith, he started doing that, and he started not throwing the ball to him too. I remember Goddard's got the most catches and the most yards of the team right now. What's that tell you? That tells you Jalen Hurts is like, okay, you want to talk stuff? I'm not throwing you the ball. I'm going to throw it to Goddard because he's not complaining, and he's out there doing his job. Do your job, and I'll throw you the ball. But that's on him to do that. He could do that because he's the general of the Army. You know what I'm saying? The offensive linemen have to do their job regardless because they're professionals. They have to do that. They can't pick that because, like James said, and Jack, you said, if they find out that they're not giving 100%, bye-bye, you got to go. They'll do that. They'll do that in a heartbeat.
Well, maybe in the offseason. I haven't given Goddard his due, usually on this show the way I should. He's been an elite tight end, and between Saquon Barkley running the ball, Goddard at tight end, you can get by if the defense is playing great. I get it. But I'm not a believer you turn a switch on and off. If you're not having the chemistry during the year with your wide receivers, I don't think it suddenly happens and you have that run through the playoffs. But things are going well for the Eagles. I mean, you can't complain in the sense because their defense, is outstanding. I mean, the game against the Lions, the effort, their defensive effort was nothing short of superb. And, we'll see going forward. But there are a number of good teams out there who are going to take a serious run at the Super Bowl. We mentioned the Rams before, the Buccaneers. And I just don't feel there's that feeling of favoritism with the Eagles outside of them being defending champions. If they weren't the defending champions, we wouldn't be talking about them the same way based on how they played this year. We'd be pointing out their flaws, but because they're the defending champions and they have a very nice 8-2 record, we point to that.
Yeah, I think A.J. Brown, he's kind of getting on my nerves with all his complaining and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, I know you're a good receiver, dude, and maybe you should get the ball more. But at the same time, you're winning, and you won a Super Bowl last year doing the same thing. Yes, the running took over precedence. You still got some yards, and in the Super Bowl, you mattered because they stopped the run. And who was Jalen Hurts throwing to? A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. So, I mean, and they won that way. So, I mean, if you can win two ways, I mean, I wouldn't worry about it. I think the offensive coordinator needs to get his stuff together because he's not really calling really good offensive games. I think he should get Saquon Barkley more involved in the game. That way the receivers will be able to be out there getting open and not having the Jalen Hurts like, I'm not throwing to you because this guy's open because of what the defense is showing you. So, I mean, it goes both ways, but for a receiver to complain about that stuff and be a diva about it, and you're winning.
I don't know if they're being a diva. I'm going to defend them. They ask him.
No, he's being a diva.
He answers the questions, and when you're as great as A.J. Brown is, your patience can only go so far. You're not seeing the ball. He knows what he's capable of doing and how he can help the team. But when it happens week after week and he's not being utilized the right way, it's really hard to be quiet.
I mean, again, I'm still calling it a diva. I mean, because first of all, you're playing as a team. This is a function that people have to keep remembering about football. It's a team sport. If you are winning as a team, and this is what I'm talking about, And the Lions don't have these problems. If Amon St. Brown doesn't get a catch during a game, but the Lions win, even if the Lions lose, he's not going to complain about him not getting catches, because he's going to go out there and do everything he can to make the team better and block, win routes, catch balls at certain times, whatever the case may be for him. He's not going to do that. A.J. Brown has that problem. Go out there and just play to your, up to your billing. Go out there and do your job, like Bill Belichick used to say. Go out there and do your job, and everything will come to you. But he's not doing that. He's up there. Dude, you got a Super Bowl.
Any other elite receiver would be acting the same way as A.J. Brown. I mean, if
Amon St. Brown is an elite receiver right now, and no, he doesn't act that way. Sorry.
Not on the level of A.J. Brown, not quite.
No, he's better than A.J. Brown.
Right at this moment, because we've forgotten about A.J. Brown because he's not having the ball thrown to him enough. But when A.J. Brown is extremely involved, that's not the case.
I mean, Amon St. Brown's extremely involved in all his games. If you see Amon St. Brown drop a pass, that is talk for the rest of the week. Oh my God, Amon dropped a pass, and when A.J. Brown drops a pass, nobody says anything. I mean, those are things.
He's more of a big play receiver. It's a question of style.
Yeah, I'm not buying that one right now. I mean, I'm not taking nothing away from A.J. Brown. He's a great receiver.
Wait. Do we blame the coach? Because Dan Campbell seems to have really good control of that team, where everyone knows their roles and so on, and it doesn't seem to be any dissension. And we get it in Philadelphia, but how do you argue with the success that Nick Sirianni has had? He's had phenomenal success as well. But so I don't know what you make out of all of this.
Except that what the commenter said earlier is that, and I thought this before he even brought that up, is that T.O. was just similar, and he still found ways to give what he needed. He did what
James. T.O. caused big time dissension on the teams. He was a real selfish guy. A.J. Brown just wants his fair share of throws. He doesn't have to have an attitude, oh, I'm the guy.
I mean, there's no such thing as fair share of throws. That's what I'm saying.
And catch the ball.
In the game plan, just catch the ball when you need to.
Do what you can when you're supposed to be doing. He don't do everything he's supposed to be doing as well.
Yeah, I've seen him take plays off. AJ just does that, and like I said, it's a bad thing to say about AJ because AJ is an extraordinary player. He's a very good football player. He's a very good receiver. I'm not taking none of that away from him. That dude could be dominating 1 minute, and you won't see him for the next minute. But when you don't see him for the next minute, see him for things. The coaching staff's got to see him for things that he's doing on the blocking. That's a big thing with receivers. You need to have them blocking so they can get other receivers open, tight ends open, the running backs to run down the field. Be involved in the game that way. That's what I'm talking about, the difference between Amon St. Brown and A.J. Brown. Amon St. Brown will find things to do to make that team better, even if he's not getting the production that he's supposed to be getting. He does that. A.J. Brown's not doing that. He's complaining about it. And that's not healthy for the football team. You need to shut up and do your job, period. You'll get yours. He got his in the Super Bowl, right? Because what do? They stopped Saquon. Kansas City managed to stop Saquon. And then Jalen Hurts just went to the air. And he said, okay, you guys got it. I'm throwing it to you. And they had great games. So, I mean, not every game is going to be based on Saquon Barkley. It's going to be based on whatever the defense is setting out there as whatever. You know what I'm saying? The offense has just got to react to it. And I just don't think the offensive coordinator is involving everybody like he's supposed to. And I can understand that frustration, but at the same time, you're winning games. So just roll with it. Maybe the offensive coordinator will get better in play calling, and then that'll help them out, later in the year. So that's all we can go by. I mean, the owner can talk to AJ all he wants. I mean, he's paying his bill, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. When you don't catch the ball, too, that doesn't make what you say really call for it. But anyway, that'll conclude this show. I appreciate everybody for joining. Keith, thanks a lot for it. And we'll look forward to seeing you full time next week. James, as usual, and Jack, as usual. Everybody have a very good football Sunday, and we will see you next week as soon as I get this banner off. All right.